So this is about how I became a design writer, historian, design critic. Part of it has to do with loving the popular culture, as I'm sure most of you do. That's why we become graphic designers. There's something about the objects of design that turn us on. So I call this designing graphic design history, a personal perspective in the age of attention deficit disorder. And you'll see why as I go through the talk. Well, you can see why right now, actually. This is a scene from an apartment that I have in my building. This is only half of it, where I store a lot of the artifacts and materials that I work with. And that's another view of it from the library side. I collect books, and I think that part of what we do as designers is to accumulate. Some of us accumulate and divest, and others of us keep. And some of us divest and keep. I've been sending a lot of material down to the Wolfsonian Museum in Miami, which I urge you all to go visit. It's the best museum for design and what they call propaganda and decorative arts. I'll start by talking about being influenced by pop culture. And I say it here, what the everyday says about tomorrow. That was me. I was a failed student at NYU first, and then at the School of Visual Arts, where I've been working either as a teacher or an administrator or a founder of programs for a good 40 years, including while I was working at the New York Times. What interested me when I was growing up in the 60s was the popular culture. In fact, I was part of that culture. But these are a few of the artifacts that I've saved over those years and that have come back in many ways to influence what I write and how I write. The Beatles album, of course, which you should think about and remember because it's going to haunt me in a little bit. Marshall McLuhan and Quentin Fiore's important book, The Medium is the Massage, which taught me that graphic design was actually a art and craft. This was an illustrated book that used photography and typography to tell a very important story at that time. Magazines were very important to me in building my visual vocabulary and visual literacy, as well as my word literacy. Esquire, with covers done by George Lois, Ramparts, which was a politically left magazine in the 60s.